There's a moment in a good sales conversation where everything changes. It's not dramatic, not even that loud, but it is noticeable. The customer pauses and says something like, "Ah, right, that makes sense." In that moment, everything becomes easier.
You're listening to the Sales Today podcast, and I'm your host, Fred Copestake. On this podcast, we explore how sales professionals can develop a modern approach to winning business, the application of virtual selling techniques, how to create meaningful business relationships, and much more. Why not take our free collaborative selling scorecard to see how your sales approach suits today's environment? You'll find a link in the show notes.
That moment where we get the and have moved from the whole kind of nah to okay to well, that's quite good to oh wow to I get it. It isn't really about persuasion. It's not about being convinced. It's about clarity. Up to that point, the customer is working things out. They're trying to make sense of a ton of stuff, including, probably most importantly, what's actually going on, what matters most, what should they do. Often, that thinking is incomplete or it's not clear for them. And so the real challenge is most sales conversations don't quite get there. They stay in explanation mode. More detail, more information, more features, which ironically can actually make things harder because the customer has now got even more to process, but doesn't get necessarily more clarity from doing that. What a high performing sales conversation does is simplify. It takes something that feels complex and makes it easy to understand. What they'll do is they'll help the customer to see the problem more clearly, understand what matters most, and recognize the direction that they should take. When that happens, the solution starts to make sense. That's why the moment, that deeply satisfied sound in the I'm just more comfortable as a result, is so powerful. It changes the dynamic. The conversation moves from this uncertainty that's clouding the issue, that's getting in the way, which is stopping things moving forward, to clarity. As to, yeah, it's now obvious what I need to do. It also changes from being hesitant to being worried about doing something, to not wanting to make the step, to confidence in, yes, I know where we need to go now, clear to me. And from evaluation to decision, weighing things up and still trying to work out what's best to do, to, yeah, that is what is going to happen. And look, this isn't because the product has changed, the service, the offer. It's because the customer's thinking has. That is the role of the salesperson. It's not to persuade, it's not to push, but it's to help customers to think, to guide them, to frame the issues, to bring clarity to the table. Because when you do that, you're not just presenting a solution to people, you're actually helping to shape a decision. So, in your next conversation, it's worth asking, are we simply adding more information, or are we creating more clarity? The difference between those two things is often the difference between moving forward or experiencing some kind of delay. If this sounds familiar, there is in the show notes the collaborative selling scorecard. You can have a look at this, take it for free, and use it to work out what does your sales process look like. Is it leading you towards these kind of conversations that make a difference? Take it, have a look. Hopefully it'll make a bit of difference to the way in which you are operating.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Today podcast with me, your host, Fred Copestake. I hope you've enjoyed what you heard today. If you did, please get in touch and hit subscribe. And remember, you can take the collaborative selling scorecard for free to check out how your sales approach works in today's environment. You'll find it in the show notes.